It's official pick time for UFC 318. I'm going to go through every single fight on the card. I'm going to give you a brief breakdown of who I'm choosing and why I'm choosing them to win. If you want a deeper dive into every single fight on the card, go check out the live stream I did with Dan Half the Battle last night here on the HI Picks YouTube channel. It's longer, it's more in-depth, and it gives you some insight on the bets for each and every fight. This is where we take a gun to our head. We got to put our life on the line with one fighter who we believe should win. Just a reminder, picks and bets are very different. Just because I pick a fighter to win doesn't mean I'm going to bet on him, and it doesn't mean I'm going to bet against him. So, as always, if you want the bets, jump in the Home of Fight Picks Premium membership. That's where you're going to get all the bets I have every single week. Our boy Hasbullah is with us once again. He picked Tuco Tokos to beat Junior Tafel last week, so you might want to listen to him. We start with the first fight of the night, Carly Judice and Nicole Caliari. It's a tough one to call because this is women's MMA at a pretty low level. But when I look at this fight, I think Nicole Caliari is going to need to get this fight to the ground. Do I trust her to do so? Not entirely. Could she have some success doing it? Maybe. But from what I've seen, Carly Judice's takedown defense isn't terrible. And when she does get taken down, she gets right back up pretty much every single time. So I'm going to take Carly Judice to win this one. I think her volume, her length, her size, her striking in general will allow her to win a lot of the minutes in this fight and maybe get a late finish, but I think it's probably going to be a decision. Give me Carly Judice to win the fight in her home state. She's the official pick this week. Let's move on. Bruno Ferreira, Jackson McVey. If you watch my early picks video, I'm like, dang, this line is crazy. But I get it in some aspects. It is still wide in my opinion, but I think Bruno Ferreira is the rightful favorite. I think he should win. He's got more UFC experience. Jackson McVey, he's supposed to make his UFC debut against Dumas, and then he gets thrown to a much higher level fighter in Bruno Ferreira. So Bruno Ferreira is the official pick this week. I think he could definitely touch up Jackson McVey with his hands on the ground. I think he can hold his own, but honestly, there's not a chance I am playing Bruno Ferreira at his current line. Absolutely zero chance. We just have a lot of unknowns with Jackson McVey. Maybe he is the second coming of Jesus by the looks of his hair, but I can't really trust it right now because I've never seen it. So Bruno Ferreira is the official pick this week. Let's move on. Ryan Spann coming in here against Lukas Brzeski. Lukas Brzeski is almost never going to get my pick, and he's almost never going to get my money. I did call him to beat Walter Walker back in the day, and he did win, but that is his only win. He's 1-5 in the UFC. Ryan Spann, he's got a lot of flaws. Let's just say that. He's got a lot of flaws. He's bad gas tank, not exactly the best defensive striking, not the best takedown defense, but I think he has the tools to go out there and finish Lukas Brzeski, who's been finished in back-to-back fights. Ryan Spann, pretty powerful, probably going to be more athletic, more explosive, better grappler on the ground as well. So Ryan Spann's going to be the official pick this week. I think he gets it done. There's just levels to this. It's a big step down in competition for Ryan Spann. I think he should get it done in the first round. Moving on, Jimmy Crute taking on Marcin Prachnio. This is a huge step down for Jimmy Crute, and if he doesn't pass it, he should get cut because Marcin Prachnio should have been cut by now. I'm not sure why he's still on the UFC roster because he's not exactly some amazing striker. He's got these karate kicks. He likes to stay at range, but he can really only do that effectively for about 5 minutes. And Jimmy Crute, in all reality, is probably going to look for the takedown early on. And if he gets that takedown, I could see him finishing the fight with one takedown, one chance at top control. I think he could probably put away Marcin Prachnio. Prachnio's not the most durable guy either. If Jimmy Crute throws his hands and lands cleanly, I think he could hurt Marcin Prachnio early on, especially in the fight. Prachnio's really only way to win this fight, in my opinion, is to leg kick him for 15 minutes, and I can't even trust him to do that. Maybe he could get an early knockout with some type of head kick. Don't really see it, though. I think Jimmy Crute gets his first win in quite some time. He'll be the official pick this week. Just a better overall fighter, in my opinion. Let's move on. Adam Fugitt taking on the debuting Islam Dulatov at -600. UFC debuter, huge favorite. I understand it to some extent because Adam Fugitt isn't some amazing fighter, but he is a serviceable fighter. Is he going to come in here and upset the hype train of Islam Dulatov, who finishes everybody in round one? I don't think so. I don't really think so because Fugitt's not the best defensively when it comes to his striking, and Dulatov is going to look to close that kicking range, get into the boxing range, unleash his hands, and I don't really trust Adam Fugitt's durability. If Fugitt wants to win this fight, he's probably got to wrestle early on, and Dulatov seems like he has a decent submission game and a good sprawl on him as well. So give me Dulatov to win here. He'll be the official pick. I think he's just too explosive, especially early on. But if this fight extends, we don't know what Dulatov really looks like after round one. So it could get dicey, but I think Dulatov gets it done in round one. He'll be the official pick. We go to another heavy hitter here in Eteba Gautier, who's another huge favorite, taking on Robert Valentin. Now, I caught a little bit of slack in my early picks video. I'm like, I'm going to lean Valentin. He's plus 400. I mean, I still kind of feel the same way, but, you know, when I watch the tape, I think Gautier is just such a specimen, such a good striker as well. Got really clean eyes, and when he throws, he lands, and he lands hard. Okay, he lands hard, and he's actually fairly precise. He's not a guy that's just out there swinging these big hooks, hoping one lands. He's got some, I don't want to say some, he's got a really solid method of the way that he goes about his striking, and I don't know that Robert Valentin can necessarily match that. I think Valentin's got to get this fight to the ground, and I just don't know that he can. If he does get it to the ground, it could get dicey for Gautier because I don't think he has much off his back, but I'm just going to trust, you know, the fight starts on the feet. I think his takedown defense is relatively okay, and I think he probably knocks out Robert Valentin. So he'll be the official pick this week. Whoever gave me slack in the early picks video, I'm not actually going to pick Robert Valentin to win the fight, but this line is pretty dang wide. Eteba Gautier is the official pick. Let's move on. Francisco Prado taking on Nikolai Veretennikov. Now, Prado, after watching his tape, I'm like, dude, all I really see from Prado is a guy that has a lot of heart, a lot of forward pressure, swings hard, but whiffs on a lot of shots. And then I watch Veretennikov, and I'm like, this guy does nothing. He does nothing out of there. He doesn't. Unless he's on the regional scene against somebody who's a low-level opponent, then he can do what he wants. But once he's at a UFC level, granted it's against, you know, Michael Morales, Danny Barlow, we don't really know how good Danny Barlow is, but he didn't really do much in that fight either. It was a close fight, but that's because Barlow didn't really do much either. So this is a very weird one for me. It's hard to pick a winner because I don't really trust either guy, but I'm going to take Francisco Prado because he's the younger guy, because I think his aggression might be able to give him more opportunities to land. We know he's tough. We know he's durable. His cardio is questionable, but he's training an American top team, so I'm hoping he's making some improvements, and I think he can win the fight. I'm going to take him for the official pick, but it's with a lot of hesitancy because I just don't know that he's some great fighter right now that I would trust with my money. But I'm going to take him for the official pick. I'll trust him with my life if my life is on the line, I guess, against Nikolai Veretennikov. Let's move on. Marvin Vettori, Brendan Allen, the rematch everyone's been waiting for. If you haven't seen the video, go check it out. Brendan Allen landed a pretty flush right hand, bare knuckle, in the casino on Marvin Vettori, and Marvin Vettori's chin held up. So what is Brendan Allen going to do to him in the fight? I don't know. Because is he going to take down Marvin Vettori? I don't know. I don't really see it happening easily for him. Is he going to get to the back against Marvin Vettori? I don't see it happening easily. So I think this fight could play out on the feet for a majority of it. And I think Marvin Vettori might be just a little bit better of a striker. I think Brendan Allen's striking is good, don't get me wrong. But Vettori is extremely durable. I think he's better with his hands. Throws a lot of volume. He's got great cardio. We've seen Brendan Allen struggle with his cardio in some fights as well. So I'm going to take Marvin Vettori here as the official pick. I know it's not looking good for him, and he could go out there and just look like a corpse of what he once was, which was something. I mean, he was something at some point, and it's not that he's not anything now, but there are some concerns to where he's at in his career, but I'm just going to pick him to win here because I think if the fight plays out on the feet for 15 minutes, he's going to give himself a good shot to win. So I'll take Marvin Vettori for the official pick. He's fighting with a heavy heart as well. Don't know if that's going to be good or bad, but I'm just going to hope that it's good. I'll take Vettori for the official pick. To the feature prelim, we got Kyler Phillips taking on Vinicius Oliveira. This one is extremely tough to call. Tough to pick a winner on this fight. I think it might be the toughest one on the card, in my opinion, because Kyler Phillips, I think he's going to look really good in round 1. And then we get to round 2. And that's where Oliveira starts to cook people, because he is extremely tough. He has a ton of forward pressure. He swings very hard, and he's very physical. Kyler Phillips does tend to struggle when guys are forcing him up against the cage, when guys are being physical against him and imposing their will. So early on, I think Phillips could possibly even finish Vinicius Oliveira. We've seen Oliveira finish multiple times. We've never seen Kyler Phillips finished, but we have seen Kyler Phillips gas out. And that is a huge, huge red flag as the fight progresses. So overall, I'm going to take Vinicius Oliveira for the official pick, but it's very low confidence, man. I think this is a 50-50 fight, and I think it's pretty, clear who's going to be in control of round 1, and it's pretty clear who's going to be in control in round 3. Does it get to round 3? That's a question mark. There's a lot of question marks on this fight, but Vinicius Oliveira, if there's a gun to my head, I'll take him for the official pick. Main card, Michael Johnson. I almost said Michael Jackson. Michael Johnson taking on Daniel Zellhuber. Zellhuber, huge favorite here, and I think he is the rightful favorite. I think he comes in here as the younger, more durable, longer, taller, maybe faster. I think maybe just better cardio. I think Michael Johnson's still fast at his age, but he's got to close the range to be fast. He's got to let his hands go in the pocket. He's got to get inside the pocket first to do that. I don't know that Zellhuber is going to let him inside the pocket cleanly. I think he's going to be able to control the fight from the range, and he's going to be able to close the distance to where Michael Johnson's up against the cage, and then he can go. If Johnson tries to wrestle, I don't think it's going to be a good idea, because I don't think he's going to get many takedowns on Zellhuber. And if Zellhuber wants to wrestle, I think he could do that as well. So Zellhuber is going to be the official pick here. Not saying anything too crazy here, because he is a huge favorite. But I like the youth. I like the durability. I like that he has 15 minutes of solid cardio. He's kind of a slow starter, so it could look a little sketchy. But I think as the fight progresses, he pulls away and maybe gets a late finish. Dan Ige taking on Patricio Pitbull. Patricio, just going to be too old for me in this one. Until I see something where I can look at it and be like, okay, he's not washed, then I'm going to have to pick against him. Dan Ige is still at a solid point in his career where he's competing and winning fights. And not only that, finishing fights. Coming off the knockout win over Sean Woodson. Questionable stoppage, but at least he was up on the scorecards, and he hurt Sean Woodson, which is tough to do, because it's really tough to get past that huge frame. He's going to be against a much, much smaller guy here in Patricio Pitbull. I think Dan is just a little bit too sharp with his hands to where Pitbull is going to have to respect it, and I think Pitbull might get a little bit gun shy. If Pitbull wants to wrestle here, I think that's probably his best path to victory, because Dan Ige still does have like a 50% takedown defense, and that's usually how you beat Dan Ige. But I don't know that I could trust him to do it. So Dan Ige is going to be the official pick here. I think he's just a too clean of a boxer, and I think he will make Patricio Pitbull pay with his hands. Dan Ige is the official pick. Let's move on. Feature bout. Kevin Holland taking on Daniel Rodriguez. This one's pretty clear to me, man. I don't really see where Daniel Rodriguez is going to have success in this fight. Kevin Holland is going to have a huge height and reach advantage, and he's going to use that to pick away and land big shots on Daniel Rodriguez. And what does Daniel Rodriguez likes to do? He likes to come forward, use his boxing to land a ton of volume. Is he going to be able to land a ton of volume on Kevin Holland? I don't really think so, because he's going to have to get past a severe range disadvantage. And if he wants to do that, he's going to get caught with knees up the middle. He's going to get caught with big right hands down the pipe, elbows. And when he falls into the clinch, Kevin Holland's going to be able to bully him in the clinch. And if this fight hits the ground, Kevin Holland's going to be able to submit him. So Kevin Holland's going to be the official pick this week. I think he can get it done by any way he wants. He's also much younger, very active as well, which I don't really think is a negative. This is his 4th fight in 2025, which is good in my opinion, because if Kevin Holland is active, that means he's had a lot of confidence and he's in a groove. So Kevin Holland is the official pick this week. I think he gets it done any way he wants. Co-main event, very tough one to call because it's a big step down in competition for Paulo Costa, and it's a step up for Kopylov. But Kopylov's got all the momentum. Paulo Costa does not. And I think Kopylov has what it takes to beat Kopylov has what it takes to beat Paulo Costa. But if Paulo Costa comes in here with a good game plan, he could give Kopylov a lot of troubles. But can I trust Paulo Costa come in with a good game plan? No. I just can't. I can't trust this guy until he's proven to me that he's actually there to win fights and not just to show up for paychecks, do his little thing on social media, be all funny. It's cool. I like it. But you got to start winning fights. And I don't even think he has a win against an active UFC middleweight. I don't think there is. I don't think there is one. I'm trying to think. I don't think there is. So he hasn't beaten an active middleweight on the roster right now. Roman Kopylov has. I think he's got the striking to deal with Paulo Costa. And if things get bad and you let Kopylov pour it on, it's not going to look good. So Kopylov's going to be the official pick this week. With hesitancy, he's minus 230, so it's a pretty hefty price tag to pay for a guy that's making a step up in competition. But I am going to take him for the official pick. Not sure if I'll get involved from a betting perspective, though. We go to the main event. Max Holloway taking on Dustin the Diamond Poirier in his retirement fight, the trilogy. First fight, Dustin submits Max Holloway. Second fight, Dustin Poirier wins a decision over Max Holloway. Will Max get his first win against Poirier? Third time's the charm. Could be. I look at this fight and I think Dustin Poirier is just at a worse point in his career than Max Holloway. But honestly, you could argue that Max Holloway is not at a great point in his career. He just got knocked out for the first time against Ilia Topuria. So there are some red flags on both sides, but I think Max at 155 now should be a little bit more filled out than when he was the first time that they fought at lightweight. And I think his durability is still better than Dustin Poirier. Poirier's been finished, I think, 7 times in his career. And Max, go watch that second fight. Both guys had each other hurt many times. Obviously, Poirier had him hurt more times than Max did because he won the fight. But Max was a pretty sizable favorite to win that fight. And he was on his 13-fight win streak, I believe it was. Had just knocked out Jose Aldo twice. Just beat the living piss out of Brian Ortega. He was on an all-time high, goes in there on short notice, a little bit skinny fat, and he loses to Poirier, and Poirier becomes the interim champion. But at this point, Poirier's in his retirement phase. He actually said thought he was going to retire after the Islam fight, and then he's coming back for one more, gets the send-off in New Orleans, in Louisiana, his home state. So there might be some pressure on Dustin Poirier. I don't know if there's a lot of pressure on Holloway. I think there's less pressure on Holloway. I think there's more incentive for Holloway to go in there and beat a guy that he's lost to twice. So I'm going to take Max Holloway to win the fight. This is a very fun fight that I don't even really care to have money on either side. I kind of just want to watch him fight. But there is, some things that I'm looking at possibly to bet on. But for the pick, I'm going to take Max Holloway. I just think he's younger. I think he's going to be filled in at 155. I think he can deal with the power a little bit better now that he's filled in at 155, had a full camp, to train for Dustin Poirier. So he's going to be the official pick this week. That's going to do it for the video. Like the video for me. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back here real soon with the best bets video and the Long Shots Only live show on Friday. Appreciate y'all. Till next time. Hey, Job Picks. We out.